Hi, you join me here at Low Moor Station. This is reaching towards the end of the first week of opening for this new railway station and service. I thought I'd let you know about my experience. I tried it out today. First of all, when the train has gone, I'll tell you about a few facts about the station. Let's just see the train go. Okay, it opened this last Sunday, and that was the 2nd of April 2017. It's cost £10.8 million to build this station, and it's been a long time coming. 2012, Metro had a lot of plans for this station, and it's taken until then to actually see it open. One of the main reasons for that was Northern Rail couldn't get enough time in their timetable to be able to get extra trains or to get trains to stop here. The other reason being is the car park had got some old mine workings underneath it before they could build a car park, so they had to get all that sorted out beforehand. This has become a big gap that has been filled on the West Yorkshire Railway network. It was a gap between Halifax and Bradford, which was the longest one on the network, and that has been filled in with this station. There's a park and ride facility for cars. I believe there's over 100 spaces, so that should be good to start off with. I expect that it will get more successful. Maybe they have to extend that. It's also very close to the Greenway. I don't know if you can see that behind me. The Greenway that runs from Low Moor through the Spen Valley all the way down to Dewsbury. If you've never cycled down that, I thoroughly recommend it. It hardly ever goes across a road, so you can really enjoy that without cars. It's also close to the bus service, the number 286, which runs between Bradford, Cleckheaton, Dewsbury, and some of them go to Wakefield as well. There's disabled lifts here as well, and ramps, and that's great for people who've got children in pushchairs too. There's a self-service ticket machine that seemed to work okay this morning. It'd be useful maybe if they had more. I can imagine in the morning, if there's a rush, you might want to be able to use more than one. There are live PA updates. There certainly was this morning, updating you on the service, and that's useful to know. Just a little bit of history. It opened, did the original station way back in 1847 with just a service going out of Cleckheaton, and that eventually grew into a junction, a major junction, which allowed services to go to Halifax, Manchester, Victoria, also down the Spen Valley across to Wakefield, up to Bradford, and there was also a short-lived service that went up to Dudley Hill and on towards Pudsey and Leeds. That closed in the 14th of June 1965 as part of the Dr Beeching cuts, and Low Moor has been without a railway service ever since then. Just talk about the services that are running at the moment. Basically, there's an hourly service that runs between Leeds, New Pudsey, Bradford interchange, and then stopping at Low Moor and then on to Halifax and Huddersfield. There are also 3 or 4 trains that go on to London's King's Cross as well. Full marks to Grand Central for really cooperating with that and making sure most of their services stop here. Just mention what times they are in a bit. Just mention the Leeds services. There seems to be a lot of services in the morning that go on to Leeds, and that makes sense because I guess the bulk of the passengers will be going in that direction. However, it's still quite limited. It's roughly about every hour.
Rail improvement works are taking place this weekend on this line, with replacement bus services operating. Please check your journey in advance at nationalrail.co.uk.
There's proof of the PA announcements. The first service to Leeds from Low Moor is at 06:13, then 07:27 and 08:23. It roughly takes about 33 minutes to get to Leeds, so that's a huge improvement for people who live in South Bradford if they want to use that service. Huddersfield it takes a little longer, roughly about 41 minutes. Unfortunately, the first train is at 8:06, and that's the one that I caught this morning. It was on time, it was fine, but just as a comparison, the 8:63 bus leaves Wyke, which is quite close to Low Moor, to about 08:11, whereas the train service leaves at 08:06, and that takes 43 minutes to be able to get to Huddersfield bus station. So they are quite similar in times if you want to go to Huddersfield. As a comparison, back in 1962, the timetable for the railway service, it had a train at 08:30, and that arrived at 09:09. So that took 39 minutes to get over to Huddersfield from Low Moor, so maybe a little bit faster there. Just mention the London trains. As I say, Grand Central have done an excellent job in being able to get their King's Cross services to stop here. There's one that sets off at 07:01 on weekdays, and all the times I've mentioned so far have all been about weekdays. Another one at 10:27 and 14:39. There is another service that goes from Bradford, but that doesn't stop here. And coming back from King's Cross, there's a service at 10:48, 14:48, 16:03 and 19:52 departing from the Cross, and that last one arrives here at 22:38. So there's nothing to stop you having a day out in London from here. That's going to make getting to London really, really convenient. Bradford for decades now has been a bit of a backwater when it comes to having a good service to London, but full marks to Grand Central for operating this service, and certainly when I've been on it, it's been very reliable, and it's non-stop from Doncaster to London, so it makes excellent timing. There is no service to Manchester Victoria, which is regrettable. I'd like to think that Northern Rail will be able to get a service running from Low Moor to Manchester Victoria. However, you still can do it from Low Moor. All you need to do is change at Halifax. So, for example, you could get the 07:08 to Halifax, a 9-minute change, get the 07:27 from Halifax, and that gets you into Manchester Victoria at 08:23. Here comes a service coming through now. So that service was probably one of the Manchester Victoria trains that isn't stopping. As I was saying, if you're coming back from Manchester Victoria, you could get the 21:26, get off at Halifax, have a change of trains. That takes about 17 minutes change, and then get the train that stops here at Low Moor. That takes an hour and 28 minutes coming back. Going to Manchester in the morning on the service that's playing took about an hour and 5 minutes. So that's doable. It certainly makes commuting there okay. But I'll just mention what happened on my evening service. I was due to get the 5:50 from 17:50 from Huddersfield, and unfortunately when I got to Huddersfield station I found out it had been cancelled, and that leaves you in a bit of a predicament because this is only an hourly service. So what do? I wanted to get home quick. When I went to the bus stop outside to try and get the X63, their services were running very badly. I was there for about 50 minutes, only one bus turned up, and that was full. So I went back to the station and got the 1850 train over here. So that wasn't a really good experience, and that highlights the problem of this service. If it's just hourly between Leeds, Bradford, Halifax and Huddersfield, if something goes wrong, like in this case the cancellation due to some disruptive passengers I believe, if something goes wrong then you're left in the lurch. You're going to have a long wait, and I think this is going to prevent Low Moor Station from being a success that it could be. So please, Northern Rail, can you do what you can to get some more services to stop here, get some of those Manchester Victorias to Leeds and York services to call here, and then you'll see a great success. There's a huge demand here for the services. The public who live here have been very supportive. I went to a public meeting a few years ago where Metro were there, and the rail operator, and I believe someone from Grand Central, and they recognised that there was a huge demand for people to be able to use this service. So it's been one of the great things that's happened to the Low Moor Wyke area, the opening of this service. I just hope that it'll become a great success, and that the operators will do their utmost in making sure that it's a reliable and safe service. Because if it isn't, if it's like my service this evening, then it's not going to be as good. I'm signing off now. I hope this has been helpful. At some point I'll try the Leeds direction, and I'll tell you about my experience there. Okay, thanks for watching. Goodbye.